Let's talk about percentiles. Percentiles are your percent rank out of 100. We're going to look at an example on ACT scores. So when you take your ACT, you might get a report that looks like this. The total score is out of 36, so you can see that this student has a composite score of 21. The rest of the report ranks you with everybody else who took the test, so you can see those percentiles right here. So what do percentiles really mean? Well, when we're talking about percentiles, we're trying to figure out how your score compares to everybody else. So if your score was 56 for your ranks, 56 percentile for your rank in the US, what that means is that your score was equal to or greater than 50% of all scores in the United States. So of everybody in the United States that took the test, you did as well or better than 56% of them. It does not mean that you got 56% of the test questions right. Instead, it's comparing you to other students. So if we look at this particular student, what did this student rank the best on? Well, what we would want to look at is the percentiles and to try to find the percentiles that are the highest. So this student did pretty well in writing. They are in the 79th percentile, which means that they did as well or better than 79% of students. Some of the other ones that they did pretty well on is the 74%. So overall in English was pretty good. And then, reading wasn't too bad either because you can see some scores in the 60s here as well. So what might the student need to work on? Well, if the student was trying to improve their score, it looks like there's a lot of room to improve in science. In science, the student's at the 32nd percentile, which means that they only did better than 32% of students. So that might be an area that they could improve. So percentile values represent the percent of that data at or below it. So it's either people who are the same or below. One last thing to know is that you can't score in the 100th percentile because you can't be ranked higher than 100% of the data. The highest percentile you can get is 99th percentile. Let's talk about quartiles. Quartiles are similar to percentiles, but instead of breaking the data down into 100s, instead it's breaking it down into quarters, which means that the first quartile represents the 25th percentile. So the first quartile would be the first 25th percentile. So it's a value in the data that is at or higher than a fourth of the data. The second quartile, or we can call that Q2, is the 50th percentile. So it's a value that's at or higher than half of the data. And an important thing to know for Q2 is that this is also called the median. So your median and your second quartile are the same thing. And then there's the third quartile as well. So the third quartile means that you're at the 75th percentile. So you're at or are higher than 3/4 of the data. There's no fourth quartile since there's no value that's higher than 100% of the data. So there's just first, second, and third quartiles. So let's see if we can figure out how to calculate these quartiles. So the first thing that we're going to do is to try to figure out the median. So if you look at this list of numbers, we're going to try to find the number that's in the middle. So 4 is exactly in the middle. That means that it's our median or our Q2. So we start by figuring out the median, which is also called the Q2. Then what we're going to do is to try to figure out the first quartile or the lower quartile. What we want to do is just focus in on the lower half of the data. So we're just going to focus in on this 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to try to find the middle of that. It's almost like trying to figure out the median again, but this time we're trying to find the first quartile. So we're trying to find what's in the middle out of 2, 3, 4. So the lower quartile is 3. That's what's in the middle. Now we're going to try to figure out the upper quartile. So to figure out the upper quartile, we're just going to look at the upper half of the data. So we're just going to look at the 5, 7, and 8, and we're going to try to find the middle of that. So our upper quartile, or Q3, is going to be 7 for this data. So now what we're going to do is to try to write out our 5-number summary. And a 5-number summary is going to take those 3 pieces of information we've already figured out, our Q1, our median, and our Q3. And then we're also going to include the minimum and the maximum values. So we already know our Q1 is 3, our median is 4, and our Q3 is 7. All that we have left for the 5-number summary is the minimum and the maximum. The minimum and the maximum are just 2 and 8. So our minimum or our lowest point here is 2, and then our highest or our maximum is 8. Now let's talk about box plots. Box plots are a way that you can visually show a 5-number summary. So a box plot looks like this, where there's a box in the middle. So you can see this box shaded in here in blue. And the parts of the box represent your lower quartile. So this first line represents your lower quartile or your Q1. The middle line represents your median or your Q2. And then the final line here represents your upper quartile or your Q3. And then there's whiskers on each end, and each of these whiskers is going to point either to the minimum value or the other whisker is going to point to the maximum value. So let's look at that data again that we looked at in the last example where we've got our 5-number summary. We were going to take this 5-number summary and we were going to try to create a box plot. The first thing that we would do is to put a line for each number. So we're going to put a line here for our minimum 2, our Q1 3, our median 4, our Q3 7, and our maximum 8. And then we're going to draw in the box. So the box is going to connect the lower quartile, the median, and the upper quartile like this. And then finally we draw in our whiskers. So here is our box and whisker plot for this data. Now, a couple other things for you to know about a box and whisker plot. The box is representing the middle 50% of the data. So it's representing everything from the 25th percentile up to the 75th percentile. It's representing the middle 50% of the data. This middle 50% of the data is also referred to as the inner quartile range. If we want to figure out what the inner quartile range is, that's just a fancy way of saying how wide is the box. All we have to do is subtract our Q3 and our Q1. So to get your IQR or inner quartile range, you do subtraction. You subtract your Q3 and your Q1. Another thing for you to know about the data is that the whiskers represent the upper and the lower 25th percent of the data. So the box is representing the middle 50% of the data, and then the whiskers are representing the upper and the lower 25th percent of the data. Let's look at another example. So we are going to start this example by trying to determine the median. If you look at this list of numbers, there's not an individual number that's exactly in the middle. So what we're going to need to do is to try to figure out what would be the middle or the median between 3 and 5. So we're going to try to figure out the middle there. Sometimes you'll just be able to tell easily what the middle number is, but if you're ever not sure, the trick is to add those two numbers together. So in this case, 3 plus 5 would be 8, and then you always divide by 2. So that would give us 4. So again, you add the two numbers together first, and then you take that answer, divide it by 2. So the median for this problem is 4. Now we're going to see if we can figure out the Q1. So to figure out the Q1, we're just going to look at the first half of the data. So we're looking at the lower 50% of the data. In this example, that's 1, 2, 3, 3. So again, we're going to try to find the middle of that. 2 and 3 are our middle numbers. So if we were going to find the middle of those, we could add them together and divide by 2, or you might just be able to tell that it's at 2.5. So our Q1 or our lower quartile is 2.5. Now if we want to try to figure out the Q3, we're going to look at the upper half of the data. So 5, 7, 9, and 10. Looking at 5, 7, 9, and 10, we're going to try to find the middle. So 7 and 9 would be the middle. We need to figure out what's right in between those. So again, we could add those together and then divide by 2, and we're going to get 8 for that. The next step to figure out our 5-number summary would just be to identify the minimum and the maximum. So the minimum is 1, and then the maximum is 10. And now we're going to create our box and whisker plot. So I'm going to start with a number line, And then on my number line, I'm going to draw in lines representing all 5 pieces of my 5-number summary. So here I drew in all 5 lines for my 5-number summary. If you look at this decimal here where I had 2.5, you can see that this line's halfway in between the 2 and the 3 at 2.5. And now I draw in my box. So my box again is going from my Q1, it's showing my median, and going up to my Q3. That's representing that middle 50% of the data. And then I draw in my whiskers. This whisker is representing the lower 25% of the data, and this whisker is representing the higher 25% of the data. The last thing for us to look at for box and whisker plots is outliers. So these kinds of graphs can show you what the outliers are, and what we need to use in order to determine outliers is something called cutoffs. So here's an example of a box and whisker plot where you can see that our minimum is an outlier and we've got a maximum outlier too. To determine whether a data point is an outlier, you're going to need to know your Q1, your Q3, and your IQR. So the first thing you'd want to make sure you have is your Q1. You also need to make sure you have your Q3, and then you're going to want to calculate your IQR. And remember, your IQR is if you take your Q3 and subtract your Q1. To determine whether a low data point is an outlier, what you're going to do is take 1.5 times that IQR, and then you're going to do your Q1 minus that answer. So the formula is Q1 minus 1.5 times your IQR. If you get a number that is outside of that cutoff, it's going to make it at a minimum outlier. If you want to figure out a maximum outlier, you would do 1.5 times your IQR, and then you would add that to your Q3. So the formula for this is Q3 plus 1.5 times your IQR, and any data point that's higher than that cutoff is going to be considered an outlier. One last thing to note is that it's possible that box plots don't have any whiskers, and they might just have one whisker, like maybe they have a whisker on the lower end, but then not on the upper end. If you had a box plot that looked like this, it would mean that we know your minimum value, we know your Q1, your median, and your Q3. But if we don't have an upper whisker, what that would mean is that your Q3 and your maximum are actually the same size. So your Q3 and your maximum are equal to each other. If you were missing a whisker on the lower end, what that would mean is that your minimum and your Q1 were equal to each other.